monkey!
I do like this because you just wreck all of his machine at once. So you're like, yeah.
Damn.
Nice.
Oh shit! It like I got in between the platforms that pushed me down.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops. That's on me for not paying attention.
Fucking ain't a perfect run.
No.
We watch Power Trip.
No. That and I don't normally stream things. But yeah.
3 deaths, man. I don't even know why you're still playing.
This is definitely one of my worst.
I'm just kidding.
Oh no!
You're making this look so frickin' simple.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
actually like it's disgusting. To be quite honest,
I would be fucked anyway. Like I for some reason X games I have a harder time playing. Just because, like, I'm sure I've shared on the channel about how I play, like, the original games, where it's like, I pretty much do the 8, and then I'm done. Like, the Wily stages I'm never really a fan of.
Yeah.
Because, like, some of them drag on too long. Pretty much. Well, that's where all the fun is for me, is the bots, you know? I like to fight the bosses and all that.
I also like how, like, he goes to each sort of, like, one. Like, they have, like, different attack force, so he's trying to, like, follow you up to each, like, turret.
Oh, okay, so you can only hit in the holes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You are able to hit through those at a time, but you can just destroy them too.
Yeah. And guess what? Eat my magnet, bitch.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's not really taking away. It's one peg at a time.
Is this just the easiest way to do it?
Yeah, one peg at a time.
Well, to be fair, this is pretty simple. Not a whole lot.
No, it is. But
you would
just...
still fuck this up somehow.
Oh, shut up!
If you were playing.
Shut up! Man, go fuck yourself.
You two were playing, you guys wouldn't even be done with the 8 yet.
You know something?
God, no.
Shut up! You're right.
I don't know. So did you answer the question of what you'd want to see happen in the series? I don't really.
Did I answer?
No,
the question?
Tim.
I mean, I haven't really thought about. I've thought about sequels of ones I want to see, but if they made like a brand new series, like
Mega Man Legends 3.
I mean, yeah, like for me, it's just like I want to see Legends because Legends 2 and it's such a cliffhanger. It's with Valnet stuck on the moon, and Roll and Tron are trying to get him back. So it just ends with him stuck on like up in Elysium. So I would love to see that. The X series also ends like X8 ends on a cliffhanger, so that's why I was like I've been waiting for that for years. X8 ends with the new generation Reploids basically reveal that like we can turn into any Reploid. We can also turn into Sigma if we want to, and they're like oh shit, and then like Axel gets hit by something and like they're like oh great, like all these new Reploids can turn into Sigma if they want to, and like do all this. So that's great.
Yeah, what a fucking shit show.
Well, so they kind of go on, like, Axel's a prototype of a new kind of Reploid.
Yeah.
And to make them more, like, again, they're, like, more versatile, like, they're actually able to change their body into whatever they need to to have certain tasks. So, like, Axel can transform into things. So the new generation Reploids were based on Axel's idea, but, like, going a step further, where they can, like, turn into any of them. And they end up basically like kind of taking Sigma over. Like Sigma's kind of like he's kind of the red herring. They make you think that he's gonna be like the big bad, but he's not. Like you fight a Sigma that ends up turning into like back into another Reploid first. And like another one, like and you end up killing Sigma, and then Lumine comes out as a boss. It's like oh yeah, like he's a putz. I don't need him. And so it basically set the stage for another wave of enemy in the X series, which was really cool. But then it just ended.
Let's say because wasn't Axel supposed to be like based on X in a way,
well,
with like the whole idea of being able to copy powers and shit like that?
Axel, X, yes.
Or did I just completely come up with that on my ass?
Like
pretty sure I just made that up right now.
Yeah, like his story is not really tied to X. Like he's not. It's just that I mean, Reploids in general are based on X. Like he was the first one found, and he was the one who could like actually think and feel for himself and act against the laws of robotics. So that was a big deal, and so they're all called Reploids because they're based on him. They're like replicant androids. They're based on. So they're all based on X. Axel is basically just like the next step in that.
Okay.
It's just for precaution's sake, because I'm totally not paying attention to a lot of things I'm doing.
Yeah, shame on you.
But yeah, when you get Axel introduced in 7, which I could see what they were trying to do. It just was really frustrating. And they go like, oh, like this is Axel is part of a new like organization called Red Alert, and he can do all these things. They didn't really use it to great effect there. They had it somewhat in Command Mission where he could turn into the bosses. Everything's there. And then in X8, he has it where he can turn into some enemies, and he's able to like access other areas. I think they use that to really great effect in the ZX games, but obviously not with Axel, but just like with the transformation mechanic in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not an overtly terrible character. It's just like if I had wanted to play as Axel, I would have like signed up for it first, rather than having like, you know, buying a game like where it's Mega Man X7 and X is front and center on the cover, like it's just X, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it just that was really frustrating.
God, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. It's like the ultimate false advertising.
Pretty much.
Which one really needs a sequel? Mega Man Soccer.
Actually, a kind of funny thing about that. So, a fan recently found that there was stuff missing in the game. I guess there was some kind of error in programming, which locked the actual like ending to the game. So when you do like the championship mode, like there's like an ending and a credits, and you can unlock Dr. Wily, and you can kind of see Dr. Wily on the character select, but he's sort of off screen. So fans have found that, so you actually are able to get into it now and actually access that content. Yep. So you're actually able to see the actual ending to Mega Man Soccer, which is pretty fun. It's kind of neat to see that. I actually like playing that game. Like it's not great, but
well, that one it was like a nice little like diversion.
Yeah.
Same as
Ooh, baby.
Gosh.
what was the? There was another weird side one.
You lost me. Oh god.
How the heck are you supposed to? Oh, there you go. Oh, nice.
He's smarter than your average bear, Paul.
Well, I get that. I just didn't know how it was gonna happen. You're dead. Oh no.
He's not us.
No, he's definitely not.
God almighty, boy.
Get this one. This is a little trickier of a path. Ah, shoot.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't even see him.
Ah, shoot.
I didn't see him.
Yeah, those ones go on the side.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See him.
That'll be okay. I'm definitely not doing as well as I have been.
Who saw it? Well, me. Well, me. Who saw him.
How would you know? How would you know?
How would you know?
I'm trying to think of the other side game that you're thinking of right now. That's driving me nuts.
I have no idea. I don't even know what.
Well, I know there was Rockman Battle and Chase was a racing game.
That's probably the one I'm thinking.
And that's
of.
on the PS1. They did include it on the X collection in North America, which is pretty cool. So they actually did have a domestic release, kind of.
I like the power battles.
Those are
the
fun.
arcade games. Those were a lot of fun.
There we go.
Have you ever played
And
the Mega Man computer games?
the DOS games,
Yes.
they're not good.
No, they're not good at all.
Although it's weird that
I've
they only
seen
did
them.
Mega Man 1 and 3.
And 3, yeah.
What the hell's happening
So
right
this
now?
is a hidden capsule that you find. Like, so in X1 you get.
Wow, you are so cool. I'm not worthy. I'm not
So it's the
worthy.
Hadouken in X1. So in this one, you get
be shy for a special surprise.
you get another little Street Fighter surprise.
The kick, the windmill kick.
Ha!
Is it
Chex
the-
Mix Harook
is-
Sex!
No, is it the Dragon Uppercut?
Yep.
Oh, it's a Shoryuken?
Yep. So you actually get a Shoryuken.
Yes!
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was hoping that X3 would have been the
Chex Mix Harook Sex?
Yeah, the Hurricane Kick, yeah.
Tatsumaki Senpu Kyuken. I think.
Man, fuck you, Tim, for knowing the name.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Why do you ruin
Why
the
you gotta
allure?
ruin it?
What? I don't. But why does that ruin it?
Chex Max Sex.
Because no one knows what the name is. No one knows what they say. No one has any idea what the
That's
hell's
why that
actually
Family
happening.
Guy,
in this
when they make fun of it, it's probably the funniest thing.
Gosh.
What is happening right now? Is he fucking you?
Yeah. So I forget those enemies. If they jump on you, like they latch onto you and make you repeat an action over and over. So some
my
will make
God.
you jump or shoot or dash,
Oh my god.
which is pretty annoying.
That's some
alright.
weird shit.
But I still keep that anyway.
Hey, yeah, fuck that. You got the fucking Dragon Uppercut. Actually, that was one thing I loved in X4 when you fought Magma Dragoon.
Yep,
He would do Hadouken, and he would actually say Hadouken.
Yeah. So
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You can actually say
Yeah, it was
he actually
fucking
has attacks.
awesome.
He's really cool.
I love
I
Magma
did like
Dragoon.
his fight too. That you can actually basically screw him over, and you're able to bring a ride armor into the fight.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you go through this stage, there's a ride armor you can find there, and you're able to take it through a part of the lava and go underneath and like break some like blocks out of the way, and you can reach the boss room with it. So you're able to actually go and fight him with
Yeah,
that,
I
which
would
is insane.
always do that. 4 had some of the coolest enemies, man. I can't wait to see
4 is really
play
good.
4.
Well, if you get the X collection, you're able to play that one again, which is great.
Ow. Ow. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Rolling fire! Sure you can.
Yep. So he actually does that during the fight. He was a really cool enemy. I liked him a lot. It felt like he had more screen time too, because he's the one at the beginning of the game in the opening stage, and he's like, oh no, it's the Sky Lagoon's collapsing. I got out of here. He was a Maverick hunter too, and you find out he betrayed you, and he's the one who actually sabotaged it and caused that stage to fall. He's like, yep, that was me. Fuck you.
Yeah, it was cool.
Well, this seems a little bit easy.
Storm Owl!
Oh, well, it does get
What the
more
fuck
difficult.
is happening? Is that Sigma's head?
This is one of the X hunters. That is Agile.
This is Agile. So, what would be... Oh, I suppose you just go... What's with the rockets coming at the screen?
Just to show off the C4 chip that they put in, like the CX4 chip. So this one had, like, X3 had an extra graphics chip in it to get some, like, really cool effects.
So
That's why I had, like, that wire enemy before,
That
the sword.
But
Yeah,
this does nothing?
It just kind of be there.
It just goes whoosh. Cool.
I think both X2 and X3, like the chips inside of the game are like double the size of the actual, like an average chip. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They have like a whole additional, like, now you know the motherboards are usually like that size and stuff like that. Theirs like take up the entire like top of the
Holy
cartridge
fuck.
as well too.
Oh, so in the Ninja Gaiden 2 game we did, I talked about that one game for the NES, Lagrange Point.
Yep.
There you go, Tim. Talk about Lagrange Point.
Well, I mean, you can't do it. It's just
I don't know enough about it.
really neat Famicom RPG. Wasn't released here, but what's cool is it has an FM synth chip built into it. So
There we
it's
go.
a really big cartridge.
Yeah.
But its sound quality is incredible because of that. There were some games in Japan that had different sound chips put into it, which we didn't really get. Konami, I know, had like the VRC6 chip they put in some games, the Virtual ROM Controller 6 chip.
Okay.
That was in Akumajo Densetsu, which was Castlevania 3
Oh.
here. So Castlevania 3 here has a slightly different sound than the version in Japan, because that had 2 extra channels of sound.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it just sounds really great. Some people I know prefer the US soundtrack. I prefer the one on the Famicom.
Oh,
but
so the Famicom had the 2 extra channels.
Yes, yeah,
Oh, okay.
on the VRC6 chip in the game. But for Lagrange Point, it actually had like a full FM synth chip in it, which is really huge. But it sounds like it didn't even come from an NES or Famicom. It's incredible.
Oh, wow.
I remember watching a video on it. I was like, dude, I would love to play Lagrange Point.
Yeah, it looks neat too. There's a fan translation available. You can get around with that, or if you want to try to get it.
It's like, it was pretty much, it felt like Phantasy Star.
Yeah, it basically is.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I actually got Phantasy Star on that Sega Ages thing for the Switch.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad. I didn't realize how many songs from like Phantasy Star 4 were actually in
Oh, and one.
the original one. Yeah. Because there's like a lot of references in 4 about like to the other 3 games, but like some of the references I didn't understand because I had never played one. Because that was,
Yeah.
Master-
Master System. Yeah.
but it was cool. I actually really enjoyed it. That's all I had.
That's all I had.
Oh, it's a neat game.
No, I kind of want to. Now I want to listen to like what the sound of the or what the game sounds like.
Yeah,
The
you
Grange
should.
Point, just because it's like it sounds like impressive. Like,
Yeah,
Health Restore.
I linked it to Andy. They're little like health nodes. there you can
Oh,
pick
I
up.
didn't see him. Okay. Yeah, can you get like a like a repro cart of Lagrange Point?
Yeah.
probably.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have to maybe
I'm
see
pretty
if I can
But
find a repro.
but would they be able to do like the enhanced
why not?
sound chip?
I'm sure they could.
I mean, that I'm not sure.
I don't know if you can necessarily emulate that though.
Well,
Why not?
for a repro card, it's basically just putting it on a different one. But I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, because for that, you'd have to have like the chip.
I suppose.
That's what I
built
mean.
into
You'd
it.
have to have the actual
but
chip built
one
into
way
it.
you could play it if you want to do the fan translation. So if you use like a Retron 5, you could get the original game and then actually load the fan translation on an SD card and just play it that way. So you can
Really?
use the original cart because it basically just boots the ROM, and then you're able to get it that way. I'm not sure if there are any compatibility issues, but yeah, that's one way. I think not Did You Know Gaming. My Life in Gaming did a video on that one. So like the emulation quality is not perfect for Retron 5. It has a bunch of issues for that. But one thing that's pretty cool is that if you want to play a ROM hack or a fan translation, that you're actually able to load it up on an SD card, because it doesn't really read from the cart as you're playing. Like when you're playing on an actual hardware, it's actively reading through that. For that, it just basically dumps the ROM from the cart. So it kind of uses the cartridge as sort of like authentication to get it. It just sort of like gets like the entire ROM and boots it from there. So, but because of that, you're able to do some other things that you might not be doing other clone consoles, which is pretty cool. I would say. If you're looking for complete like accuracy, and you don't have the original consoles, the closest is probably one of the analog consoles they have, like the Super NT or those are NT Mini. Like those ones are really close.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
But if you want to play the Lagrange point or any other ones and not really like you don't want to have to go through just getting a Famicom, you could probably get a Retron 5 and do that way.
I think or it was Kevin. I think you shared it with me. Did you see that thing what was it called? Poly Mega or something like that?
The Poly Mega.
Yeah. That like I don't remember. Jesus, I'd have to look.
It has not nodule. It's got different modules.
Yeah.
It's like the system with the different modules that are interchangeable, but you can play any system. Like any game of any system, you just need to have the correct module for it.
Yeah, and it could like use authentic controllers and stuff like the ports were authentic and all this other shit.
Except though, I love the idea of it in theory, but it sounds like an execution is just it's not worth it.
Actually, one thing Andy and I did talk about when I originally showed it to him was what kind of compatibility issues are going to arise.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like they're talking about like the core system is going to be like $150, which is that's fine and dandy. That's nothing wrong with that. But then the additional modules for it are like
$60 a piece or something like that.
By the time you have like the core system and then 2 modules, you're already spending close to $300.
Yeah,
like so. I mean it's not feasible then at that point to even have the system.
Considering you could buy an authentic system for
around that price,
anyway.
You could, I mean, hell, you could still buy a Sega Saturn for like $60, $70.
Yeah.
So I mean, why get the module then at that point?
Who knows though? Maybe it runs better.
Well, but there's also the other thing that you got to remember that as time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to get system. What if your system craps out?
So,
after a certain point, you can no longer get those original systems.
Not to mention, too, there's going to come a point where we can't connect these to our televisions anymore.
Yeah.
So that's how I equate it, is like this is pretty much how generations future are going to be able to play these games and preserve them.
There are some options if you do want to use your original hardware with newer TVs. Obviously, if you do it now, you're going to have latency issues. It's not going to look well. Like if you just hook up, an SD console to an HDTV, it's going to look worse. It's going to look worse than it would in a CRT. But you can use external scalers and things to get it better.
Yeah.
So for Saturn, probably the best option to get would be to get SCART cables, so you get RGB output, and then get a scaler like FrameMeister or OSSC to upscale that, and it looks pretty nice if you do it that way. That's probably one of the best ways. I know some people also are doing console mods for it. So one is, I think it's called the RIA, where it's a HDMI like out, and then they also do like an SD card reader in the Saturn like base. So they actually take out like the actual disc, like the drive, and everything, and instead have an SD loader in it in the actual Saturn. So it's still playing it on the Saturn hardware. It's basically just booting the games off an SD card.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty cool. I think it's RIA and Phoebe are the code names they have for it. There's also one that people have done for the Dreamcast, like as a similar mod. And I know people have done things like there's an RGB console mod for NES. There's the Ultra HDMI mod for N64 to make it look nicer. It's still, N64, so it's not gonna look super pretty, but it does look a lot better.
I was gonna say there's kind of no point in upscaling N64 or PlayStation 1, is there?
But what's nice is PS1 actually can natively output with RGB. So if you just have those cords, you can get it. SNES and Genesis can also natively output RGB.
Right.
But the NES can't. I don't think the N64 can either for some reason. So those have been kind of tricky. But generally, I think for like if you want to play PS1 or PS2, it's a bit easier. Like for PS2, you can get component cables and put those into your TV.
Yeah.
So that's been a bit easier to do.
You know what's crazy though is that my TV that I have in the living room, it doesn't have outputs for component cables.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the red, white, and yellow.
Mine doesn't
component
either.
cables.
It probably has like
Well, I
those
think
So for
it's
composite or
blue,
component?
green.
'Cause for composite, is it's red, white, yellow, like yellow for video. it's going
Both.
to one.
It doesn't have.
So the component
it
is
doesn't.
with the 3. It's going on.
It doesn't have either.
Well, I've
either one of
noticed
them.
that a lot of like 4K and up TVs have dropped them.
Except believe this, there's a coax output though.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just like, to me that doesn't make sense. Like,
Because you think most of them are just HDMI.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what's weird is all this stuff, but you still have
Some, like-
cable lines running to people's houses
Yeah.
through that coax.
Yeah. So, but I
Yeah.
mean, like on my new TV, like I can hook up a Nintendo. I can hook up a Super Nintendo. I can't hook up the GameCube to it.
Oh, yeah, you're
I
right.
can't do the GameCube. I can't hook up the PlayStation 2 because I don't have a
There's no S video.
yeah.
This reminds me
Yeah.
for a GameCube also there's a HDMI solution for it too, someone built so the GameCube did have official component cables. They're super hard to get.
Super hard to find and super expensive.
But
Yes.
people have made things where it takes advantage of that port and it ends up to HDMI out. And like, it looks
okay.
really good.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why, like, I complain sometimes. I mean, you can see burn-in on my TV right now from when we were playing Little Nemo earlier
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to get a new television, but I don't want to get rid of this because it's like you said, at some point, I'm not going to be able to hook this shit up to my television
Nope.
anymore.
Exactly.
The other thing I want someone to find a solution for, light gun games.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one that you kind of
That would be like the holy grail of
Yeah.
finding the solution for on modern TVs.
Yeah, that's just one where you really need a CRT.
Yeah.
That's
the
sad
only. Yeah.
because that's why like that style disappeared. I just wish they'd come back.
Oh, well, I mean,
I
if you
suppose
think about it,
the
the
Wii
Wii...
sort of solved it, but
Yeah,
not
and
quite.
the Move and the Kinect and shit was essentially the next step of quote-unquote light gun.
Well, and now like I guess
But-
VR games, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
No. There was nothing like quite with like Lethal Enforcers holding the Magnum and shooting at the television, or even in the arcades, the Time Crisis gun with the kickback.
Oh yeah. With the kickback.
Like,
Yeah.
Those are always fun.
It was friggin' awesome.
Yeah, I
Like,
had a good time with that.
I
game.
loved the what was the one called
House of the
for the PlayStation? Was it the Gun Con?
Yeah, the gun con.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the most popular of the gun controllers. That was.
Well, that's because that was
It's a
the
Zapper,
time of
baby.
time crisis. Yeah.
It's
I
already-
would say the
honestly-
Zapper was bigger.
Well, it was, but that's because I mean there was nothing else to compare it to at the time that it came out, and then it became a standard for like every
Yeah.
gaming
Yeah, the-
console to have their own version of a gun.
The Lethal Enforcers one was the Justifier.
Yep.
Then you had the one for the Saturn that came with
Sega-
Virtua Cop.
The Sega Master System had a zapper gun too.
Did it really?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had their
that-
own zapper gun
Oh,
too.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Then you had the ones that had the built-in games like the Menacer, the Super Scope 6. You had, ones like that.
It's like
Well,
playing the
Super
arcade.
Scope 6, I do not believe that had built-in games.
Yeah. Oh,
You had to have
that's
an
true.
external cart.
Well, the
for it.
Menacer was the same way.
Yeah,
it was an external
yeah.
card, but it was its own like pack-in thing. You know? what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
It was like games. It wasn't like.
There was not many games that were compatible with the Super Scope.
Well, I would imagine none.
And
really
same with
were, other than the Super Scope.
No, they specifically made like 6 or 10 games or something like that were
Really?
specifically compatible with the
Oh.
Super Scope.
Well,
Yoshi's
maybe-
Safari was one of them.
Yeah.
So you think about it, Rob the Robot really didn't have a whole lot of.
Oh no,
titles
he only
for
had
it.
2.
Yeah, like
he only
yeah.
had 2.
Gyromite and Stack Up.
That's it. That is
Yeah,
it.
look at you with your NES knowledge, Tim.